What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the reigning Miss Olympia champion Derek Lunsford. So a video of him and his coach Hadi Choopan was uploaded on the Evogen Nutrition YouTube channel. And before we break down the video and his physique, let's just put one thing in perspective. That this was taken at 8 weeks out of this year's Miss Olympia. So about 3.5 weeks from now. So it was a great shoulder workout, which is arguably Derek's biggest weakness. That and his chest, these two parts in particular. So we talk about Derek's back all the time, that it is one of the greatest back ever in the bodybuilding history. But as far as his weaknesses are concerned, how much improvements can we expect from Derek this time? Since he was the one who had the most amount of time to get bigger to grow, as he was focused on just one show. So there are experts out there, like Milos Sarcev, who believe that Derek is gonna look more or less the same as last year from the front, or even as same as 2022, as he believes that that is a matter of genetics, and it isn't a matter of muscle maturity. So I have said this before, and I'm gonna say this again. If anyone thinks that Derek is just gonna show up with striations all across his chest and his shoulders, just like Hadi Choopan, then that is never gonna happen. But still, I have to say the added size that Derek has put on in 2024, that is definitely gonna help him. His quads in particular are looking massively improved, and let's just hope that he can hold on to all that density when he drops the water. The real question in my mind right now is that whether Derek really needs to bring a harder look from the front in order to win, in order to repeat. So the results of last year's Miss Olympia, that just goes to show us that he has multiple other strengths as well that really go in his favor, and they are enough for him to win. So just like we would never expect Andrew Jacked to have shredded hamstrings like Derek has, but he is still being talked about as a contender to win this year's Miss Olympia. So same goes for Derek as well from the front. One can never expect him to have a striated chest like Hadi Choopan has, and even without it, he is the favorite to win this year. I mean, he is the winning Miss Olympia. So what do you guys think? How much improvements are you expecting from Derek in 5 weeks time, especially from the front, especially in his weak areas? Next up, we have an update from Wesley Visser. So those moving fibers in his shoulders, in his delts, while he's doing seated cable curls, they tell us one thing. He doesn't pin his delts, meaning he doesn't inject his delts. And just look at those striations all over him, all over his arms, his delts, his triceps, everything is looking so separated. So Wesley has one of the most deeply striated delts in classic physique division at the moment. And that is what makes his back double biceps so damn good. So hopefully he will show up with bigger hamstrings at this year's Miss Olympia, or overall bigger legs from the front as well, because that is gonna make his back double bicep very formidable against the top competition like Chris Bumstead and Ramon Dias. And that is also gonna help him create more of an illusion of having that insane X-frame and that V-taper from the front as well. So Wesley's back double bicep less than 40 days to go. That looks right on the money. So we can all see there is an incredible amount of detail on his back, and he is really coming into his own this year. He won in Ohio, he won in UK, and that must have really boosted his confidence. I mean, he was able to beat every single guy except for Chris Bumstead, and he just changed the entire landscape of classic physique division in a matter of just a few months. So Wesley does not have the biggest and the most sweeping quads in the Olympia top 3, but those separations in his legs, they are super impressive. And do not be surprised if he beats his Arnold Ohio package in 5 weeks time, and that too by quite some margin. Ramon Dias is training very hard and very heavy in some of his recent updates. So their main focus right now is bringing a much better back in 5 weeks time, because his back double biceps is that pose. That is a money shot for Ramon, and he was even able to win that pose against Chris Bumstead last year. So just looking at the physique of Ramon from the Olympia last year, that just goes to show us how good he really is, especially if he is truly on and absolutely peeled out of his mind. And his team and Ramon himself 100% believe that the reason they lost this year's Arnold to Wesley Visser, that was because of that 6 weeks prep that led him to losing a lot of his density. And that too from everywhere, especially from his back. And even then he lost that title by just 1 point. So how good is this guy? That him not being at his best, and he was still able to beat 2 of his biggest rivals, Ors Kalashnikovsky and Brian, and that too quite handily. And for this exact reason, there is very less likelihood that we are gonna see either Brian or Ors in the top 3 at this year's Miss Olympia. Since everyone including Ramon, they are aiming to bring their A game. So just to give you guys some perspective, Ramon did 6 weeks of prep for this year's Arnold, and his Olympia prep this time, that is gonna be more than 20 weeks long. So I think we are about to see the best Ramon Dino that we have ever seen on any bodybuilding stage, and that will make all his Brazilian fans really proud. More classic physique updates, as Michaeldul, who was 6th place finisher at last year's Miss Olympia, he is looking really round and really ripped, with 6 more weeks to go. So Michaeldul, the Saharan Eagle, he is known for his trademark conditioning. I mean, the guy is known as the most shred guy in the bodybuilding world at the moment. But this time he isn't working with his former coach, Patrick Tour. But when he did his last show, the Arnold UK, he did one hell of a job coaching himself. So you can argue that his overall flow and the way his muscle bellies were popping like crazy at this year's Arnold UK. There have been some instances in the past when he was working with his former coach Patrick Tour, when those aspects of his physique, they looked a lot better. But damn, he was shredded. So Michaeldul really needs to have his trademark conditioning at this year's Miss Olympia again, in order for him to be in the discussion for the top 6. Because the thing is, he doesn't have the best structure when it comes to classic physique. But still, he was able to beat so many guys who were so much more classic than him, just on the basis of his conditioning and the kind of separation that he has on the stage. So the last 2 Olympias that Michael did, he was able to improve everywhere, especially his placings. In fact, he jumped from 10th to 6th in just a matter of 1 year. So let's see where he can finish this year. A very interesting transformation video that was shared by retired IFBB pro Alexis Rivera. So that is a full dedication to the bodybuilding lifestyle, even 6 years after retirement. And this has to be one of the most fittest 43 years old natural bodybuilder on the entire planet right now. So the man lost more than 40 pounds of muscle from 2018 to 2024. So that throwback video, that is from his prime, when he was peaking for Tampa Pro 2018, a show in which he was able to beat Sergio Oliva Jr. and he was able to qualify for Miss Olympia. And I think that was the one and only time he competed on the biggest bodybuilding stage in the world. And soon after that, he started to have that issue with one of his knees. And with those humongous quads that he had back in the day, they were just putting too much pressure on his knees. So he was left with no choice but to downsize, and that eventually led to his retirement from professional bodybuilding. So the more you look at his physique from his prime, the more you feel that this guy could have been the real deal in the men's open if he competed just for a few more years. He had that amazing skin quality that allowed him to showcase an insane amount of detail and very impressive conditioning. Now I know some people are gonna say that he isn't all natural here, but the thing is, he himself claims that he has been natural for years now, and I'm gonna take his word for it. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.